So great news! I submitted my application on Tuesday and it's official. I got approved on the spot. I can finally live in Korea long term. As mentioned in my previous video, I've been working towards my application for the F4 visa, which is I think classified formally as the Overseas Korean Resident Visa, or how I like to call it, the Korean Heritage Visa. And what's great about this visa program is general freedom of being a long-term resident without needing sponsorship from an employer or needing to go to a university or college, and not needing to marry a Korean citizen. So at least one of your parents, or I think even grandparent, has to be of Korean ancestry, and you need to have the documentation to prove it. And so along with that documentation, you need some standard things like a passport, a local address. For me, when I applied, I used the Airbnb that I was staying at, and along with a passport photo to go along with the application. Those are the more standard items for the application. Two other things that you require, which I mentioned previously, were the test results. You need kind of evidence, certified evidence that you're proficient in the Korean language, and you need a postal background check for from your country of origin. So to talk through some of those requirements, we'll first talk about language proficiency. So I believe you could take multiple tests. There's a lot of guides online that I would follow that are available online. I might link some in the description. But one of the main ones is called the TOPIK, TOPIK. That exam is one of the standard guaranteed ways of proving your Korean language proficiency. You need a score of 80 out of 200 to be classified as what they say rank 1 in the exam. The exam is broken up. There are kind of two levels, like topic 1 and topic 2. Topic 1 is kind of your elementary level of Korean. You either get a score of, or a ranking of 0, 1, or 2. Whereas topic 2, which is used to qualify for other visa programs and other programs in general, it goes from 0, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the F4 visa, you only need to take topic 1. The test had two portions. There was a multiple choice reading section and a multiple choice listening section. There's a bunch of different materials available online. I took some practice exams and some practice questions to prepare. I also I was in a kind of Korean speaking program for about 6 months leading up to the exam, and yeah, it was super helpful. I think before, or maybe a couple months into the tutoring program, I would get roughly 100 on the practice exams, but with the minimum score being 80, or at least the minimum score needed being 80, I was pretty concerned about messing up or that sort of thing, and so I wanted a kind of surefire way of knowing that when I would take the exam, I would pass. And so that process, if anything, it was more tricky registering for the exam, if anything, because the topic exam or topic is hosted pretty irregularly. It, what you call it? I think even in Korea, they only have it maybe 6 times a year. And so it's kind of hard to register for. Registration is a bit of a scramble. Even in Korea, I think they only host the exam maybe every other month, so like 6 times a year. And so because of the infrequency, a lot of folks register for the exam all at once. It makes things really tricky. In my experience, you are better off registering for a location if you're gonna do it in Korea outside of Seoul. For me, I had to take the test in Incheon, and registration was about a month out before the proper exam date, which is good because you get a little extra time to prep and study and such. I needed help because I think with the registration fee, a friend of mine had to use his Korean bank information to register me, and so I paid him back when I got to see him in person. And went in, took the exam. It felt like standardized tests back in the US, and from there kind of waited on my results. For me, I was really proud because the amount of studying I did showed, and I managed to get a 147, which is pretty good because that was the highest ranking that you can get, or at least it was within the range for the highest ranking you could get on that exam, which is a rank 2. You needed a minimum of 140 to get that. So that's one major requirement outside of like typical administrative things that's necessary for the second part of the visa, that application process that's a little tricky to navigate, is the apostilled background check. And so from your home country, you're expected to get a criminal background check. In the US, it's pretty easy. There's websites available where you can, easily get fingerprinted. Excuse me. There are websites where you can get easily fingerprinted, and then they will see if you participate in any criminal activity. I think in my process, I literally gave my fingerprints, went over to the counter to pay, and before I even left the building, I got an email saying that things were clear and I was good. What's tricky or complicated is that official document needs to be sent back to the governing body, and so for the US, it was the Department of State that had to be sent back to the Department of State and kind of certified or verified that it's an official document. And so that was mailed off. I had to include an envelope and some other materials in order for that to happen, and then it was sent back. And so once I received said document, I had to send it out. Excuse me. So I had to send it out, and I waited about maybe 6 to 8 weeks until I received the apostilled or certified version back. So one aspect of the application that was also a little difficult for me and my family more broadly was that because I was born in a certain date range and it's my mom who's Korean and not my father, she was expected to change her citizenship status, which required her to get United States citizenship. And so it was kind of a cute moment where both of us were studying for exams, me for the Korean language proficiency exam, and my mom studying for the American citizenship test, in order for me to truly qualify for the F4 visa program. And so once all of those kind of pieces came together, I was able to gather most of my things or my materials. The one piece of paperwork that I did need was a more recent copy of the family registry. Excuse me. One piece of paperwork that I needed to get in Korea was a recent copy of the family registry that was also, I believe, apostilled. And then I was able to meet with my immigration officer to process my application. The process was pretty smooth. There were a couple things I needed to do, like kind of on site per se. One was get a copy of my passport, which was pretty easy to pay for and very affordable. They had a person operating a printer / copier at the office, and then along with that there was the need to purchase two things. One I think was like the cost of the application fee itself, and then the stamp for the resident card. I might be butchering the things, but and in essence, there is a fee associated with submitting your application, but all of that was taken care of and able to be taken care of on site. I think my appointment was around 4:00, and I was seen pretty quickly, and I was able to get out of there right around the time they were closing, about 5:45. So not bad at all things considered. And so now all I have to do is wait about 6 weeks to pick up what I'm guessing is my resident card and some type of stamp or paperwork that says, oh, I am an overseas resident or an overseas Korean. I don't know. In any case, I'm an F4 visa holder. And so that's really exciting. That's a basic walkthrough of the F4 visa process and what the application was like for me. Like I said, there should be links in the description. I'll put some down that were useful for me. Feel free to comment and comment below if you have questions or want to show some love, because this was a doozy of a process, and so I'm feeling a sense of relief. This is probably one of the bigger hurdles, if not the defining hurdle to me living out here, and so I feel good. I'm ready for the rest of the ducks to get in a row, and I'll talk to y'all soon.